Let's have a look at the curry puffs that John made. Such a lovely recipe. So delish and nice to share too. There's leftovers, some to freeze. Just sitting here watching the wind and the rain. It is unreal. It's the 4th of July. Happy 4th for all my US friends. We don't have 4th of July here. Well, actually it is the 4th of July, but you know, we don't celebrate anything in particular other than thankful for being alive. Here's the weather as I speak. Hello, welcome to my podcast this week. My name is Barbara Radzavikas and this is Bondi Crafter. This week it has been, well, I think we've all got cabin fever. The weather has been really, I don't know, hurricane outside day and night. I think we're in the middle of a low pressure system, and especially at night the wind is really pelting at our windows, and because we live near the coast, it's been really high winds. Anyway, this week I haven't been out and about because, oh well, I went out once. That was to the doctor's because had a bit of pain in my side and my shoulder was playing up as on the mend now. Everything is looking better. In this podcast, I'm going to have a look at my progress with my YELL cardigan. It's an adventure in itself. I've had a look at a couple of podcasters and got some advice from them, which is really good to have some help with it. I have done some frogging on it. We'll talk about that too. Going to have a look at part 2 of big half hexagon progress. I've cut out the pieces, sewn some of it together. Still got the border to go on that. It's that's a fun project. I've got my notes here just in case. I've started watching the tour. It started this week. They're in Denmark. So exciting. I've got a few photos, but the castles and the scenery is just beautiful. Those castles are just fairy tale castles. And I bought an abacus for knitting. We'll get into that one. The weather is really bad outside. Well, it's raining and gusty winds high. So I'm busying myself inside with my crafting, mainly sewing and knitting. And does anyone else's craft area look like this? This is just this is just me, but you know, it's all together and it's right in front of me. And I'm watching the tour. I've also been keeping track of what's happening in the tour. It's so fun. In my Tour of France tracker. Oh, I just love this time of the year when the tour's on and all the main races. So, and then I can do whatever I'm doing, my knitting or my sewing, just listen to the race. It's so great. Does anyone else follow the tour? I imagine millions do. But any of my crafting friends here? So with stranded knitting and holding two colours at once, I do 5 at the most stitches, and then I just catch the loop and pull it along. Attention with my little finger. I'm left-handed. This might look like I'm knitting the right way, but no, I do mirror image knitting. And then I just change to the other, and it's very simple and very fast. And once I've got the sequence memorized, I can whiz along very fast. And this is so relaxing. And it's so lovely to see a pattern actually come out of what you knit, like a jacquard type pattern. I've never done this before. And the yarn is the yarn that I'm using the green. It's Rowan, a Rowan felted tweed, and the other one is the Shetland. I was supposed to have two Shetlands, but remember what happened? The contrasting colour that I got was not contrasting enough, and I had to get a Rowan. I really like it. It's a green. It's hard to tell that it's green. Green is one of my favourite colours. And yeah, this is just me knitting. These little stitch markers are perfect for thin. Just very meditative. Can't wait to finish. This is my progress on my YELL cardigan, and I've had a few helpful hints from Nikki at the Cat Hair podcast, and also Maggie at the Sonder podcast. And I have been in a conundrum about my YELL cardigan. It is wavy. I've got a wavy button band, but that's not the only thing. And this is how far I'm nearly finished. The sleeves don't go to the pattern. I know they do go to the pattern, but I found that I made a size medium, and I wanted the top of my sleeves to be large because I've got this English upper arm thing going on. So I cast on the right number of stitches for large, and I think the sleeves were supposed to be knitted separately, but I've just cast on the stitches to the stick. I hope that's how it was supposed to be, but probably not. And then I decreased every 4 rows going down, and I've marked it so that I know. Also, most people have got 6 repeats of this. 3 repeats, that'd be 2 of each, and I've only got 2. So Not sure how that happened either. Also, I've changed the colours, and the sleeve I'm going to change after I've done the second one. With the second one, I'm up to the colour work, and I've got the same markers on this sleeve as the other one, so I know exactly when to start the colour work. But yeah, it's a worry. Also, my moss stitch, I think it might be because it's in a thinner yarn, although the yarn is all the same, or I didn't go down a needle size enough, so I'm going to take that back also to just before the moss stitch and make it tighter. It also happened on the bottom, which is a pill. Keeps rolling like that. And I don't want it to. I am hoping to wear this YELL cardigan one day. That's my work in progress, and probably will be progressing for quite a while. I've started to make this pair of socks. I haven't made socks for ages, and that is winter now here in Australia. And this isn't in reverse. I'm a left-handed knitter. Well, a mirror image left-hand knitter. And this is how I am knitting. It's a lovely pattern. You can't really see it because of the variegated yarn that I'm using. But this is the first time I've made DK socks. And that's how far I've gotten. I love these tiny circulars for socks. This is the pattern I'm making. It is the Biscuit Socks. It's really a neat one. I got it for circular needles, but I also got it for GPNs, and I'm going to gift it to my friend. It's by Isabel Handmade Stories, and it looks really a nice pattern. And the yarn is PK yarn worsted weight. It's the first time I've used worsted weight for socks. We'll see how it goes, by Pamela Kirschman. It's 100% superwash merino, and it is called Rainbow Raven. Let's see how we go with this. I was at the reject shop the other day, and I bought this very nifty children's abacus. I know it's a children's abacus, but I bought it for knitting. And it saves me writing down the numbers of lines and sequences that I'm doing. So the blue is for the number of lines in the sequence, and there is only 8 lines in the sequence. And the yellow is for the number of sequences. So every time I start a new sequence, I put a yellow bead on, and they just stay there until I'm ready to use them. And this, I think, is genius by me. I'm regressing, I know, but I love it so much. I love the wood, and I love the colours, and I love its counting ability. This beautiful abacus only costs $5. Can you believe it? It counts, it saves, it does everything a knitter would want. I thought I would explain a bit more about how my abacus works with the knitting. And in particular, at the moment, I'm doing socks, and I'm doing an eye of partridge heel, and that requires a 4-row sequence of 4 rows. So this is my first row, first sequence, and for each row I do a colour. Then you can see I need to do 7 sequences for the heel of 4s. So it's easy to see when they're different colors. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm on to my 5th sequence of the partridge heel. The partridge heel I haven't done before, so it's very interesting. I did have to undo one lot at the beginning of it because it wasn't turning out what I thought was supposed to happen, but this is how it's happening now, and I'm very happy with it. I think that's how it's supposed to be. So yeah, something new, and hopefully I really like the edge. So hopefully the socks will turn out really nicely. I'll show more when I've finished the one sock. But yeah, this abacus is such a neat idea. What do you think? Is it helpful? It's very helpful for me. And also I work from right to left with the abacus, only because there are higher pins on the right, but I would probably go that way anyway, as I'm left-handed. There's a lot of work going on outside today. They're fixing the stained glass window that is in need of repair here. That's that drilling noise. Today I thought I would have a look at the big hexagon blocks, half hexagons really. And this is what I've got so far set out. And I'm not sure if this is exactly how I will go, but I've got a dark center, light 6 around it, then a dark, and then I'm planning to put the elephants around that as another row. These really nifty elephants. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking at the moment. I have the sewing machine out. It is a lot of work to do in one day, but once you get going on a project like this, it is for me, a one-day project, and I just need to get the top done. But I'm procrastinating, and I'm not sure whether I am ready to actually sew today. I have this video anyway as a reference of how I think it's a nice setting. I think the dark and lights will be distinctive and show the big flower in the center. So this will be the next episode for my big half hexagon quilt. See how we go. It is the middle of winter here, but it is, I don't know, I'm feeling quite warm inside. I've turned the heater off. We'll just see. With the sewing of these half hexagons, you can see how they will go together. I'll do strips. It's the easy way to do it. They come out really fast. Just have to make sure that they are matched on each row. I'm going to pick these up in the order that I'm going to sew them. I'm going to sew the center strips to begin with, and I will leave the edge so that I can attach the smaller pieces to go in it. So I will pick up them in order so that I know which way to sew them. Now they're ready to sew up. This is my center row. So now to machine piece the pieces together in the order that I've got them. So I take this one and this one and sew these two edges together. And with my template, it has a flat corner so that it lines up really well with each shape. I'll do 1/4 of an inch seam allowance on each one. That's what we're aiming for. I have to do each piece separately. I can't string piece these, otherwise it gets into a bit of a mess. So, first one done. And I'll continue right across. Then I will press the seams to the dark side of the fabric one and continue on. I'll show you when I finish this row. I'm sewing the strips together now, and it is important to match these up. So it's like making bias binding tape, but we're doing it much wider. So I fold this one over on an angle so that it's like this. Make sure to line up the edges. And as I said, we've got the template with the little cut off corners, so it's very easy to match up with the edge. And then I've been progressing with this, with the strips. I've only got one more strip to go, and then maybe sew the strips together, but I will have to iron them first. I've just sewn all the half hexagons together into strips. They're laid out here. I've finger pressed the lights to the dark side of the fabrics, and this is how I'm going to sew it up. The next step is to sew the strips, but I'm not sewing the strips right to the edge because I have to add the elephants and the 1/4 hexagon to the edges to make a rectangle. So this is the next move. I really love black and whites, and I'm really happy to get this project underway. So I'll get the strips sewn together this morning. It's only taken me like an hour to get this far. Everybody's out at the moment. My son's at the gym and my husband is shopping. So I'll have this done before they both get home, and it'll be ready for the next step, but not today. I have to think about things a bit more. I'm starting with the 2 center strips to sew those together first, and I have to be careful not to mismatch when I line them up, so very careful with that. And see, the square edges makes it very neat to sew up. I don't have much to worry about. The most important thing really is lining up the 2 seams so that they, when you open it, and they're on an angle, when you open it, they are perfect. So let's see how close we can get to that. Okay, so sew on across the whole lines. Let's open it up and see what's happened. It's always a surprise. The seam allowances and the points. I really like the points. I think they're pretty good. Let's just go along and have a look at a few more. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. This one is out by a couple of threads. But you know, it's a big quilt and big patterns, so a few threads is good. This is the way it goes. So isn't this a fab way to do hexagons if you're, you know, if you've got big print, or, you know, if you want a nice, easy quilt? I'd say it's an easy quilt, you know. I've been sewing for a fair while, and this is one of the easiest way to do hexagons on a machine. It is so much faster than English paper piecing, but that is a different process altogether. When sewing the long strips together, well, sewing all the strips together, they do have to have the outer edges put together with the fabric. So I'm not sewing right to the edge of the outermost ones, leaving about an inch, just so I can connect the outer edges to it when it's all together. This makes it so much easier if you just leave a little space to line up the seams and everything. All these pieces are connected now. All the rows are connected. At the end of each row, I've left an inch to connect the outside border. That's elephants. And I've also got, I'd say quarter hexagons to go in the edges, really. So yeah, this is my day's work. I'm going to put it away for now. I'll iron it before I start the next next row. It should be a lovely quilt. I love the colours. It looks much better in the flesh, I've got to say. But yeah, we'll see how it looks. Just one more thing to mention with the hexagon template. I do need, you know, the quarter, these pieces here, to fill in to make a straight edge. And so on the template, oh, there's a glare. On the template, we've marked the right size for that piece with the seam allowance included. So to there, with that much seam allowance, that's just for cutting. We may not need that much seam allowance, but that's how to mark the template. This for this side and this side, we do need the reverse, and sometimes I forget. You wouldn't want to forget, because you muck up a lot of fabric if you cut the wrong pieces and then discover when you're sewing that they're upside down or round the wrong way, just the little tiny pieces. It's Sunday, 3rd of July 2022. John is making vegetable pasties for us. He's doing a little production line here. The veg is cut into small pieces with curry in it. And how many pieces of pastry did you have? Puff pastry?
3.5.
3.5 pieces of puff pastry. And get all of this from that. Okay, so this is the beautiful and very neat curry puffs ready to go in the oven. I think they'll be egg washed first.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we'll have a look at them when they come out such nicely. I'll put the recipe below. This is a finished product. They look nice and golden brown. Ready for lunch. Perfect. I've been looking at frames. I need new glasses. I can't see. So yeah, I've been looking at frames, and this is a few of them. Been watching Netflix, found this amazing movie, which is hard to find really. The Dig. Have a look at it. Archaeology. It's a detective type of movie. It's about Edith Pretty and Sutton Hoo in Suffolk in the 1930s. They actually found a Viking ship with a massive hoard that's now in the British Museum. So wonderful. And I did at uni, so it was so nice to see it. And I wish I'd seen it when I was at uni, this movie. That's me signing off for this week. Stay warm, friends. Keep well. See you next week. Bye.